Hello everybody, it's Zach here from realestatelicensewizard.com. Today we're doing another real estate exam practice question. Today is question 162. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, so the question states, if a buyer refuses to go ahead with a purchase of a property which he has signed a contract, what usually happens to the earnest money? And it gives us four options. A, it is kept by the seller. B, it is kept by the buyer. C, it is kept by the escrow company, or D, it is split between the escrow company and the seller. So like always, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to think this one over. Pause here if you need time. Come up with your answer starting now. All right, if you need more time, feel free to pause. Without much more time, I'm just going to get into the explanation and answer. I'm really curious what you guys put for this one. So leave your answer down below and let's figure it out. So what is our correct answer for this one? Well, it's going to be A. It is kept by the seller. So the seller is usually entitled to keep the earnest money because this is considered forfeiture of the contract. The only way the buyer can back out and get their earnest money back is if something happens with the inspection, appraisal, or they have a contract clause offering that protection. Well, guess what, guys? In this instance, in this question, it does not mention at all anything about any contract clauses, anything about an inspection, appraisal, nothing. So we know, knowing our knowledge and knowing what we know before, we know that in principle, generally speaking, it is kept by the seller. So this is a little bit of a trick question because if the question said a buyer, backs out of a contract because the appraisal, was far lower than they anticipated, then in that instance, the buyer would keep the money. But again, those are two different instances. This one, the buyer is just outright refusing to go ahead with a purchase of the property, even though they signed a contract. Again, it's two completely different instances. So in that instance, we know it's not kept by the buyer, and we definitely know it's not kept by the escrow company or split. So we know in this instance, the seller will get the instance or the money back, the earnest money, because again, they're protected. There was a contract, it was signed, there was no contingency clause, there was no contingencies, there was no clauses on it, or again, the appraisal, presumably all went well because the question doesn't give us the information and it's not that instance. So in this instance, again, it is kept by the seller. Hopefully that makes sense. That's going to be it for this question. A little bit of a big one. But if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I know I say that all the time, but seriously, I'm here. I will answer your questions about any of these questions. And that's going to be it. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can pass the exam, no problem. Remember, guys, new content every week and tons of extra resources on our website. This is Zach from realestatelicensewizard.com. As always, make today magical.